Hey, what's up, guys? Jason Cardamone here. I want to share with you the number one mistake I've made literally since 2010. And this is really important. The reason why I want to share this is because I want to save you some of the hassles, the heartaches, some of the, up and downs I've had over time. There's been that I had a pattern all the way up through 2014 where my income would go like this. And what's really interesting is after 2014, it went way up, but it's begun a pattern to be these giant swings instead of just floating between, 5 and 14,000 a month. Now we're the swings are just way bigger. And I'm also I'll share with you what I'm doing about to address that and everything. So as you pay attention to the very end of this video, I'm going to show you I'll share with you exactly what I'm doing. I'll even introduce you to the same exact tools and communities and things that I'm using that support me and that that I've been using over several months now, that I've grown to grow, that my sphere of influence and the kind of doors that have opened up that I've grown to gain access to, because I didn't have this stuff over time. And I'm gonna go over here and turn one of these lights on because I realize it's super dark in this part of the. Sorry about that distraction there, guys. So, here's the deal: is that the number one thing I've been missing is leads coming in up front. And so we're talking about online business. We're talking about imagine, so I used to own a smoothie franchise, right? I want you to imagine whatever franchise that you know about. Most people instantly start to think of McDonald's and Subway and things like that. And so imagine that there was a brand new Subway that just opened. And there's people that drive by, right? And so maybe they see the restaurant, and because they already know what it is, they know to go check it out. Well, typically when you're online, people don't know your branding like they would know Subway or McDonald's. And those guys spend tens or hundreds of millions of dollars to do all that advertising. And so part of it is you have to consistently get your name out there. It's the bread and butter of your business online is to bring in leads, just like it's the bread and butter of a brick and mortar business to bring in new customers. And yes, when you run a solid business like the kinds I've built for many years now, of course, there's people that will refer business and refer others. And even if you grow something like direct sales, network marketing, you grow teams, you can leverage you get paid to coach other people and help them learn what you've learned. And then as they duplicate that, you can get paid off of their efforts as well. And that's one of the reasons I love that industry, because I love teaching and training people. And so as much as I don't like getting leads up front, is that as I do that, I'll grab a bunch of leads. I'll master some kind of new, whatever the traffic method of the month is. And I say that because the stuff is always changing. There's certain psychological principles in place. The way that our mind works inside, the way that you can really tap into someone's deepest intuition and that gut feeling that they know. They can literally see into your eyes, whether it's on a camera or a phone call or whatever it is, that they know what the truth is. That all those things always stay the same. The psychology doesn't change. What changes is the tools that we use to bring in the leads, to bring in the traffic. So traffic gets you leads, gets you, all this other back end process. And I'm not here to walk you through the whole sales funnel, but I want you to realize that. So a couple things. Number one, I'm putting this out there because I'm going through a very deep dive right now. Today, in fact, is day one of a big 90-day run where I am committing to doing the work I've been avoiding for a while, that to just go get the leads up front myself, because I'm already super blessed with the influence that I've created over all these years, and that even aside from the influence, me out getting leads, it's not like I never get leads. I've totally got I bring in, I don't know, over the last few years, the average would probably be about 5 to 10 leads a day. Now, if you're an internet marketer, you laugh at that number. I've already coached brand new people that are getting 15 and 20 and 50 and 100 leads a day right now. And so I've helped people to go create that for their businesses, and I'm in a position right now where, yes, I'm getting paid from other people's efforts, but here's the downside. All of my, if I didn't get any of my own leads, which again, I'm still getting some, but I need to crank that up, crank it. And hundreds of leads a day is the goal just by my birthday this summer, which is at the end of June. And so to be able to, in fact, very precisely, guys, right now, the goal is 300 leads a day by my birthday in June. And it's very likely I'm going to increase that to 500 by then. But I'm sharing that with you because without doing that, it leaves my financial future in other people's hands. Now, guys, where I first pulled away from getting my leads and stuff, it was back in 2010. And in fact, I had gone to it was my very first internet marketing event. And it was actually put on by Frank Kern. It was actually Frank Kern's 40th birthday party in San Diego, California. And I'd always wanted to meet Frank Kern. And you know, I probably won't go edit this video, but I could put the pictures of me and Frank hanging out. And what's really funny, some of my close friends through internet marketing and stuff, they were actually there, but I didn't know them yet. And we didn't meet at that event. And so I'm sharing all this because I went to that event and I was like, you know what? My team's doing really good. I have a lot of people doing cool stuff. And I just I unplugged and I stopped doing the work of bringing in the leads up front. And we were fine for like more than a year, at least a year. I think, in fact, about a year and a half or so, our income was like gaining. Now, it wasn't gaining a lot. It was only a few percentage, maybe 5-10% per month on the higher sides. But most people would kill for that. Most people who work a job, they're fighting for like a 5 or 10% per year raise. And I was sitting on not doing any work, getting that every month. So that's pretty cool. But then what happened was there were in fact two particular leaders that were responsible for a huge percentage of our income at the time, or from one stream, because we had a couple different streams of income. And so I'm sharing all that because what happened was, one guy ended up he saw something else he liked a little bit better, so he stopped promoting this thing. And so while we still to this day make multiple hundreds per month just from that one guy, from stuff he did back in 2009 and 10 and 11 and whenever he unplugged in 11 or 12, our income actually went down. I remember we had over a 6-month period, we lost about $500 a month, all the way to where over 6 months we were down $3,000 a month. Now, that's a lot of money to anybody in any situation. At the time, we had peaked. Our biggest month was about $14,000 in a month. And so our averages were like 11 or 12 at the time, or 10 to 12, I'll say. And so we were down, we got all the way down to like 8,000 or so. Now, I'm not complaining about that. That's essentially 6 figures a year, right? But along with that, I had all these servers I was running and all these tools. And so what a normal person, what they can pay for with $100,000, I had all these business expenses, lead huge lists in Aweber of now 25,000 or whatever it is. And, running these big dedicated servers and all that's just a couple things. There's tons of tools and things, thousands of dollars of expenses. And so things started getting a little tighter. And that was fine. I had another leader in that team that was really cranking things. And so our income finally stabled once we lost that 3K. And then it actually slowly started going up. It stabilized and it started going up again. It was like, that's cool. But notice the theme here. My life was in somebody else's hands, right? So we become entrepreneurs really to be able to do that. I essentially, that summer of 2010, I literally took off. There was 3 months straight I didn't do anything besides answer some random emails and phone calls because I love serving people and coaching people. And so I'd done that here and there, but guys, we're talking maybe 5 to 8 hours a week, maybe an hour a day on average. And that's when I hit running hardcore back then and just hanging out with my family all summer. It was awesome. And so, but here's what happened later. So move forward. I don't know the year, to be honest, guys. I want to say it was probably mid to late 2011 or early 2012 somewhere, that the other leader also kind of unplugged. And in fact, that leader was far more influential. They had brought in some other leaders as well. So all the leaders unplugged. And I didn't have a strong enough connection. In fact, I did have connections with them, but they really believed they had found something better. And here's why you might see this kind of smile I have. And if you could dive into my brain here and see all the little electrical and chemical impulses and realize like the real wisdom of what reality was, here's what's super funny is that several times over all these years, that leader and those people have gone back in and re-engaged into this exact same income stream that to this day has been paying us 4 to 5 figures a month since 2008. Like guys, that's a real residual income, 4 to 5 figures a month of income from one single income stream alone. And it's got as low as like, I think our lowest month was like $1,200. Guys, we're talking about since 2008. I started that in December 4th of 2008. So if you think about it, whatever, that's a lot of years. That is a lot of money. We're talking multiple 6 figures from one single thing. Now, here's what's super funny. I didn't touch that thing since around that 2010 time or so. I was trying to do some things, not very successfully. I pulled a few people in here and there, but most of that stability and growth was like from other people. And then over time it was going down. And that group of people I was talking about, they would go away for a year or two and then they'd come back and start promoting it again. And now I'm really laughing because they just, like just in the past, today's like beginning of February, early in January, maybe late in December here in 2016 or early 2017, they re-engaged and now they're bringing it like they're signing up dozens of people. Hey mom, I'm shooting a video all around here. I'll let you know in a little bit. So they're bringing in dozens of people some of the days. And so it's really interesting now that income stream is swinging right back up northwards again. And really funny is that I went and looked at some of the stuff they were doing, that one of their new leaders that they brought in. I looked at what they were doing and it's the exact same thing that I had introduced to that team in December of 2008. And all they did was add like one new banner at the top, one new graphic on the page, and it's almost the exact same words because copywriting, which is the ability to write words that influence people, things like the ultimate sales letter, triggers, influence from Cialdini and all that stuff, all that psychology, all that stuff stays the same. It's really interesting to see how that's still around. So there's blessings within it. There's good and bad to everything. But here's the part that you need to focus on. We become entrepreneurs to have a greater sense of control over our income. Like one of the things I did was I had been laid off from a job a month before my daughter was born. And I was one of their very top reps in this company I was building with them. A brick and mortar school and all this stuff. So the point is, they literally laid me off when I was one of the top guys for like a year and a half or more, the month before my daughter was born. And I don't know if it had anything to do with insurance and they didn't want to pay for all that. I have no idea. We could tell a million stories. The reality is I didn't have control of my family's income. So then we were like, dude, we were in a major panic and we ended up paying for my daughter's pregnancy fully out of pocket. And it was not without complications. And so I'm sharing all that. That's because my income was in somebody else's hands. So that was one of those other like I'd already been an entrepreneur at that point. That was one of those like reinforcements like, dude, you better go figure out how to make this happen because you never know what's going to happen. You can be a top producer. You could be working at Lockheed Martin doing Department of Defense stuff. I have friends that work there just like that was my first job out of school. I know people that still work there that have been let go of secure government positions. That's all. There is no security besides what you create for yourself. And so I'm sharing all this with you because you have to focus on the foundations, the bread and butter stuff. And so just because I am extremely good with like teaching and training people and inspiring and doing group trainings through videos and one-on-one coaching and everything like that. I have such a big influence. Now, I obviously can't take the time to do tons of one-on-one, coaching and calls. That's reserved for the very top performers. And so, and if I could, I wish I could do 100 calls a day. I can't. And so I have to do, group calls and videos and stuff like this. And how, as you're watching this right now and like letting all this stuff sink in deeply, you're probably thinking of things, whether it's traffic and leads into your business or some of the other parts that might be missing. There's foundations that you have to set over time. So here's what I'm doing right now from this video. And I'm really thankful for the mentors and the kind of people in my life that are like we're talking people that make 6-7 figures a month. Those are the kind of people that are my mentors now. And they've been very persistent and they know my patterns and they've been very persistently polite and done the proper kind of the proper types of coaching to really help me to just realize like, dude, I have to own my lead flow and my traffic, because here's the only thing missing of why my biggest month ever was only $80,000 in a month. Now, guys, I don't mean to say only, because I know most people on earth would like kill for that kind of money. I was there 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't even think, I'd given up on 6-figure months. I thought it wasn't even possible for me anymore. But the reason why I had an $80,000 month at the end of 2014 and I haven't broken 6 figures and I didn't repeat the 80,000, because that inconsistency of the lead flow up front, because I have everything else. I have the training, I have the systems. Yesterday alone, I had it may have been a 5-figure day and I didn't do anything as far as like anything directly. It was from other people's efforts. It was from things, systems and stuff I have in place and things like that. I'm sharing all those things with you because imagine how that's going to change when I'm bringing in 100 leads a day, 200, 300, 500 leads a day, and because I know I deliver the goods. You guys know I deliver the goods, or you wouldn't be listening to this video right now. And I say that very confidently, not with any arrogance whatsoever, because I'm super humble. I know what my strengths and my gifts are, and I know when you have gone through, this is like 1/3 of my book library, and it doesn't include the events and all the stuff on my computer, which is like way more than this stuff. When you pour all that stuff into your mind, you can't help but to like, stuff flies out. You know what I mean? And so imagine what my business looks like when I have even just 50 or 100 leads consistently coming in every single day. Like, guys, just imagine as if I'm doing the other processes as well, right? Which is like getting this video out to you, not just shooting videos or thinking about them and then they sit on a hard drive or a computer somewhere and they never get online to change someone's life. Just like something I may have said could have triggered something deep within you, and you may have saw like a new vision of where you really want to go and got that new cultivation, listening very carefully to, there may have been some trigger word within all of this. And I don't know what it was for you, and I don't know why you're still here in this video, besides I know I've been delivering something that you needed to hear. And maybe it's that you needed to have your belief renewed around leads you need to get. And maybe it's that you need to realize how much lack of control you have at your job. Or maybe it's that you have a child on the way and you're all of a sudden, you like, by the way, if you lose your job, you can't blame it on me. Any job that anybody has is never secure, period. If you're the owner of the company, it's as secure as you choose to make your company. If you're not the owner of your company, you're in somebody else's hands. And so here's where I'm going with all this stuff. And you are more than welcome to join me. Here's my plan and my rewards and everything. I'm going to share this stuff with you guys. I'm not going into tons of details, but I will share what I'm doing here. So I'm going on a 90-day run, and I'm doing a set of activities every single day. Every day for the next 90 days. More often than not. I know I have a couple trips in the middle of all this. I know there's going to be some times where, like, I can't do a certain activity because I'm out on the road. Now I can plan around things and I can like shoot, like let's say I'm going to be gone for 4 days. I could have 4 days of videos lined up and 4 days of emails lined up and like have those sent out while I'm gone. I can do that kind of stuff, and I am going to do that kind of stuff. But there's a set of activities I'm going to be doing every single day. And there is here's what I want to share with you guys is that I am in one particular community that they have a $10,000 guarantee that within 90 days, if you do a certain set of activities, it's probably going to take you about 2-3 hours a day when you're first starting, really get down towards like an hour or less. And you do that for 90 days, you're guaranteed to make $10,000. Now, this is a guarantee they make to everybody. And if you don't, they're going to personally work with you. Like, guys, you're talking about like some of my very coaches. I'm sharing that with you because a month or two ago, I was going back through some of the information and chatting with some of them. And I realized that like, dude, with the skills I have and the stuff I have in place and like the systems and the income multipliers that I have in place right now, that 10,000 may as well have like a zero for like what I'm able to do with all this stuff. Now, that, 100,000 over 90 days, that's not 100,000 a month, but it can sure as hell lay the foundation to create the 6 figures per month that I know I'm like more than capable of. And in fact, I am not congruent with what I know my greatest gifts and skill are when I'm not making 7 figures a year. And I don't mean like, guys, that's what I've grown to over time. You know what I'm saying? Like that same number used to be me just getting to 10,000, 3,000 a month. But I remember I was sharing the story on 2007 when that job let me go. I don't think at that time, we weren't even making 1,000 a month at the time, consistently, maybe hundreds here and there. In fact, I remember very specifically, I had made a sale the week after I got laid off. I hadn't thought of this for years, guys, many years. The week after I got laid off there, my daughter's about to be born. I remember I was working with this local company, this network marketing company, and I'd made a pretty good sale with someone that had a stranger that had come in through the internet. They'd got a few emails that I didn't even write. They barely knew me. Like we had talked on the phone like once, and everything else was somebody else's like emails, and there was no videos back then and all this other stuff. And so They didn't get to know me, like me, trust me very much besides the one phone call. And they knew I was like a good person. My heart's in the right place. But they came in, right? This is way back. My skills are like a fraction of, they're like 2% of what they are now. And the person came in and I made a commission of, I believe, I'm pretty sure it was $500. And I remember, and it may have been just 300, but I remember at the time, I was like, dude, I just have to do this every day and I can make 10,000 a month. So it must have been about $300 commission or so. And I remember all of that. And here's what, that was not based in reality, because the amount of money I spent to generate that person to come in and the amount of skills I had and the systems we were using back then and everything, I would have had to do that like very consistently for like several months before I was going to be bringing that kind of money in every day. And even with that, a big chunk of that was going right out the door with, at the time, was Google AdWords I was using. And so I'm just sharing all that with you because the foundation that I used to bring that person in was online advertising, bringing new leads in, and people join. And that gal even went out and she started doing some home parties and stuff because that was her skill set. And that's not what we were teaching her to do with our online systems, but she had a skill set there and she actually brought in other money. And like, I don't know how much I ended up making, 500 to $1,000 over time, something like that. It's consistently getting your message out there and attracting in the kind of people that are they're attracted to the message you put out there. And it doesn't matter. You don't need to have a bookshelf like that. You could be like I was back in 2007 with a heart to serve people and a big ambition and you want to get out there and you want to do some things in the world, you want to take control back in your hands and not be stuck with the job, that's all you need. If you have your heart in the right place and you have work ethic, anything, you can make anything happen. And then over time, that's when this kind of stuff happens. That's when you can like create videos, and that's when you can have 5-figure days and beyond. And that, I mean, guys, one of my teams a couple months ago, they brought in $2 million in business in 1 week. In a week. That's what happens over time when you like really get out there and make things happen. And so here's where I'm going. I am literally, for the next 90 days, I'm executing these activities, and they will result in absolutely consistent leads coming in. My reward for myself, because I don't love doing the marketing. I love doing the content. I love creating. This is what I want to do all day, is make videos like this for you guys. That's literally one of the most important things that I love doing. And so, yeah, you are going to see way more videos from me, more than you've ever seen. And I've shot thousands of videos in my life, guys. And so you're going to directly benefit from all of this as well, because part of this is regularly getting out there, consistently getting out there. And then I'm going to take this video, I'm going to send it out to my email list. I'm going to put this on my blog. I might even do a shorter version of this, and I might put the really good version of this like inside a private members area that you have to join a Facebook group. Or I might do like, hey, you have to pay like $9 a month to get into my private members area, where I put like my very top-notch content in there. And you're going to see parts of all that over all this time. But here's what's important, is that if you take consistent action and you keep your vision of where you're going, and you're using the right tools, and you're working with mentors that have your back and your best intentions in mind, and they're not out just to make a quick buck and like basically turn their back to you as soon as some refund policy's over, or they're not just trying to sling some like, hey, you can make a quick $100 a day with this thing, and you're like doing something that's not gonna last the long term. It's like short-term money, like short-term gain, like losing credibility and everything else long-term. That you can create anything in your life if you put all those things into action. And you're more than welcome. If you want to plug into some of the stuff I'm doing, you can go to jasonslaunch.com. In fact, I have a better link, and I don't even remember what it is right now. And even that's not the fully fleshed out, well, as of this video. By the time you see this, it might be the page it's supposed to be. And so one of my to-do things right now is to have a good link, which I actually have. I forgot which one it is because I have hundreds of URLs. It might be jasonswebinar.com. It might be jasonslaunch.com. I don't even know. And none of that matters. You can private message me or email me or whatever. Reply to this email, private message me or whatever works best for you. If you want to be plugged into my internal communities and the things that I'm working at, you want to lock arms with me personally, you want to like gain access to some of this stuff, even if you just want some of the training, but you have your own like product lines and services and things you're already really like you're passionate about and you're committed to, I have something that can help you, no matter what that is. Whether you want to work with me personally, whether you want to be introduced to some of my mentors that I directly work with, whether you want to like lock arms, you want to run this 90 days with me, you want to get in the trenches while we lock arms together and we go and like fight the forces of evil, as some guys were saying back at, several years ago, I'm really excited for what I'm doing with all this. And really, so my reward, so I started to say earlier, I don't enjoy the marketing side. I mean, I'm good at it here. My heart is all about creating content and changing the world and inspiring people. And so I do appreciate all the marketing and things because people need to learn, right? I don't appreciate always staying on top of it and the most cutting edge stuff and like doing things like split testing, all that stuff. Those are $10 an hour activities, and $10 an hour, guys, that's $20,000 a year. That is not in my pay grade, so to say anymore. That's part of why I've like not loved doing that stuff and put it off. So my reward over this 90 days is that by the end of this, I am going to have systems and teams and assets in place where that stuff is being handled for me, and I am like actively managing all of it, but somebody else is doing, you know, the grunt work, so to say, for those things, where I get to focus on doing even more videos and more strategizing and planning around like the content that I'm putting out there and all that. Like, guys, I have such cool things that are coming out, but the focus right now, I have something I've been focused on for the last since May of 2016, and I've literally been able to help more people make more money than anything in my entire life. So part of that smile earlier, those guys that like keep coming in and out of that opportunity from 2008, and now they're bringing in like dozens of people a day again. They're not making great money with that. They're not even making 5 figures a month, where I have people that are brand new that have never made money before that have had their first $10,000 and $20,000 months. In fact, their first $10,000 days. And I've never seen anything like that. That's where the people growing that other system, they just haven't seen the vision, and they have these, you know, preconceived notions around like, oh, well, this thing's been steady over the years and all this stuff. Hey, if they want to grow a, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 a month income that's going to last for the next 5 or 10 years, that's awesome. Power to them. They could do even more than that with their lives. And in fact, they could be having $1,000 days if they really wanted to, with the exact same amount of effort, when you have the right systems and like some of that process handled for you. And that's some of the stuff that's missing in like those old systems I built. I say those old systems, like some of the biggest systems you guys would know online, I've built those. I own them. I have people still paying for them over time, and they handle a lot of stuff for you. I just have access to people, technology, skills, networks now, that it's just a whole, guys, it's the next level. It's literally like the level of like adding a zero to the kind of skill set and the kind of like programmers, the kind of visionaries, the kind of leaders, the kind of technology that before I was like a one-man show, you know, putting all my, you know, thousands of hours and all my like programming knowledge and stuff to work, but I was never able to scale that up because I didn't have belief in like bringing in the right kind of programmers and people and stuff, and I couldn't afford the ones I thought I needed. I paid $2,000 one time for a freaking banner on the top of my site, and it was because a guy had done graphics for like Frank Kern and some big internet marketers, and I just didn't know any better. And look back on all that, that was so crazy that I paid that. But I didn't know what else to do, you know, and it was a cool graphic. People liked it. Did that graphic, could the $2,000 have gone somewhere else? Absolutely yes. So I learned from that. And so I didn't make those same mistakes. I just happened, like, as my influence has grown, especially over the last 2.5 years, I've just had doors open that life and open these doors and help pour skills into me and pour belief into me. You know, people people like Matt Trainer, Michael Burnoff, Cam George, Kayala, Jane, Julian, like, and Carl, so many people that I don't even want to start naming names because I have to keep going on because there's even more than that. But it's amazing how the synchronicities and the things kind of lead with each other. Like, you get that first domino knocked over and the momentum and the things that happen, like, you could be creating videos complaining about how, like, oh, that old stream of income's only bringing in a couple thousand a month, and this other stream's only making 4,000 or 5,000 now instead of 80,000. Like, I could complain, you guys know I'm being, I guess, sarcastic might be the word. I'm not complaining about those. I'm amazingly grateful for those. There have been times where I was like hassled over $1,500 or $2,000 of like, dude, this is nothing. And I made a video about it, and that was ridiculous. I should have never made a video like that. It is all in perspective. Like when you're making nearly 6 figures a month, 2,000, all of a sudden it's like 2%. It's like if you make $5,000 at your job, we're talking about like, what does $100 mean to you when you make $5,000 a month? Hey, you got $100 increase, but you're making $5,000. In the bigger picture, it's a small amount, but all those added up over time, that like the compound effect from Darren Hardy and every million other Pareto's principle and all this stuff, you'd get that first domino knocked over and everything falls into place. And so if you're ready to engage, you want to knock over your first domino, reach out to me. Let me know what your needs are. I will plug you in to literally the exact things I'm doing, the exact people, the systems, the tools, the stuff I'm using both to help others as well as things I'm using to help myself, like the marketing side and everything else. And so I'm just here to serve, guys. You're going to see a ridiculous amount of content and videos. And I have no hallucinations that there's going to be struggle over these 90 days. I know, dude, there already is. It's like almost noon and I'm barely shooting this video. I have some really other very important activities I still have to do. But is it going to be worth it? Because what's going to come out of this is the consistency of leads coming in. And I'm not even talking about my private secret SEO project that's only for people who had personally joined me. I'm not even talking about that in this thing. That also is going to generate leads and everything else. So as these systems and everything get into place, and as I get to the end of this 90 days, I'm looking back and things are automated and the things I didn't want to do, now I have people who love doing that stuff. And I'm blessing their lives financially and otherwise so they can do what they want to do. And I get to do what I want to do, like shoot videos like this. Now we have multiple people doing the stuff that is like their truest, unique gifts inside, and they're amplifying it and getting even better and better at using those things. And guess what? Those people, you can be one of us. And that's really what I know makes the world a better place, is that you get in, you systematize this stuff, and you create the type of business and life to where you get to do like the laptop lifestyle. You get to do what you're supposed to do and what you want to do in the world. Supposed to, I'm not talking about what a boss tells you to do. I'm talking about what your own heart and what your intuition, what you know deep inside is never going to go away. And I'm telling you right now, I've coached way more than 1,000 people. And thousands, if you look at all the stages I've spoken on and the videos I've done, tens of hundreds of thousands by now. In fact, I had one video many years ago that had way over, like, I think it was over 200,000 views, and I had to remove it because YouTube was threatening some stuff on my, like somebody was jealous and getting my account shut down. But what I'm saying is that if you look at all that and you think about where you're going, guys, that thing deep inside of you, that thing's telling you that you're better than you think you are, that I believe in you, that I love you, I know you can do this, that thing that's telling you you're better than that job you're working at, the thing that's telling you you're designed for more than the business or even the patterns or the things that you've been stuck in, that you just feel stuck in whatever way, you're better than that. And that little voice inside, you can amplify that greatly. And guess what? I even have tools and things to help you do exactly that. And as we all do that together, the entire world becomes a better place, because as you do that, that inspires me and other people, and that ripple impacts through us. And we in turn go inspire even more. And things that you do because you choose to step up impact me, and I impact tens of thousands of others, and they impact hundreds of thousands and millions of others. And pretty soon there's people we would have never met that were impacted from something because you decided to have the courage to step up and bring out that voice inside that's never going away, and to take some action and to get out of your comfort zone and do some stuff now so that you can have in the future the lifestyle and the life that you want. Just like I'm doing again, and I've done it thousands of times, like I'm doing right now, focus for 90 days, consistent lead flow, so that I can actually start to compartmentalize and systematize and get that stuff out of my hands so that I can even focus on even more of the stuff I really love. And now together we can all make the world an even better place. And here's the other part. All those ripple impacts come right back to us. And so the more we pour out there, the more positive comes right back to us. You want to pour bad out there, the bad stuff comes right back to you as well. It works both ways. That's why you're always better off doing the right thing, regardless of finances and everything else. Don't ever take a shortcut to go try to make money from someone just because you are desperate for money and you need to pay a bill or whatever. Don't ever do that if it hurts somebody else in the process. Now, if you can make money and also help people while you're going, you don't hurt anybody and you don't harm others, that is totally 100% cool. Whatever you do it for the good of yourself as long as you're not hurting other people. And the way I always operate, I have to help myself and other people with every action I take and everything I do. And over time, that all compounds and you create an even better life than you ever dreamed you could live. Because I used to have a dream. I just got reminded looking in the camera here to have my own bookshelf in the house. I used to have these ones I would bring in, the portable ones from like Home Depot, and I'd build them. Now I have a bookshelf built right into my house, soon to be a home theater, even though this is an awesome VR computer setup right now. And those are things I used to only dream about that I never thought were even reality at all. And here they are. That's one of hundreds of things that are full reality in my life. So because I've done that, and because I used to think I couldn't do that, and I've proven I could do it, that also proves because I could do it, so can you, and so can anybody else on the planet that follows a very basic set of principles in their business, in their life, in everything. Guys, I'm here to inspire and serve you. Reach out to me if there's anything I can do, and I love you, and more importantly than anything, I want you to remember this. I believe in you. Take care, guys. We'll chat soon.